Did you know that the childhood show Winnie the Pooh is based off of psychological illnesses within the characters? The reason I chose this topic is because last year in health occupational education class, we studied mental illness a lot and it was very interesting to me. While researching mental illness, I came across an article about the Winnie the Pooh characters and how they are focused around mental illnesses. The first character I'm going to describe is Winnie the Pooh. His disorder is impulse control disorder. This can be described as when you have temptations or impulses that you cannot control, and the impulses can be so severe that it could cause harm to yourself or others. Pooh shows these signs by having no self-control over trying to get honey. He goes to great measures to get the honey he wants, and he does not care if there's physical risks to it. Pooh demonstrates impulsivity, failure to resist temptations, and urges very frequently. An example of this disorder is in one of the episodes, Pooh climbs a tree to retrieve his honey. The limb breaks and he falls to the ground. This does not stop him, though. He continues to climb the tree and into a beehive to get the honey he wants. This is just one example of Pooh putting his desire for honey before his safety. Not only did he fall from the tree, but he also climbed into a beehive. This shows that Pooh has no self-control whatsoever and that he will put his desires before his safety and he will cause harm to himself and others. The next character that I'm going to discuss is Piglet. His disorder is generalized anxiety disorder. Symptoms of this disorder that Piglet clearly portrays is excessive, uncontrollable fear about activities and events. He anticipates disaster, and he fidgets and stutters very often. Piglet is always questioning the group's activities and is always very scared to go out and do things with them. Piglet's catchphrase is, "Oh, dear." Stuttering is a common symptom of generalized anxiety disorder. Not only does Piglet stutter, but he also fidgets very frequently. According to Alexa Wallen, writing in Odyssey on November 10, 2015, she claims that he may have suffered an injury that destroyed his self-esteem, and that's how his stuttering problem evolved. The next character that I'm going to discuss is Tigger. His disorder is attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, also known as ADHD. Symptoms of this disorder that Tigger clearly has is aggression, excitability, and hyperactivity. Tigger is always bouncing around and can never stay still for a period of time. He is always hyper, singing, and bouncing around, always wanting to go do something or go somewhere. It's very clear that the other characters on the show get very annoyed with Tigger because of his hyperactivity. One example of Tigger's hyperactivity affecting the others is in the Tigger movie when they are all trying to build a house for Eeyore, but Tigger's hyperactivity interrupts their efforts. The whole movie is formulated around the fact that Tigger has a problem and he causes conflict between the other animals. The next character that I'm going to discuss is Eeyore. His disorder is clinical depression. Symptoms of this disorder that Eeyore clearly has is he has a negative outlook on life, he often secludes himself from the others, and he never feels excited or happy about anything. Eeyore's world is constantly crashing down on him. His house of sticks literally falls down on him every single day, and he struggles to put it up. On the 100-acre woods map, Eeyore's area where he lives is literally labeled the gloomy place. Eeyore's catchphrase is, "Thanks for noticing," in a sarcastic manner because he believes that others do not care about him. A quote by Eeyore, "The sky has finally fallen, I always knew it would." The next character I'm going to talk about is Rabbit. His disorder is obsessive-compulsive disorder, also known as OCD. This disorder is described as uncontrollable actions to an extreme extent. Cleaning in Rabbit's case. Rabbit's symptom of OCD are very clear considering he's constantly cleaning his house very precisely and always gardening his carrots perfectly. He also goes insane whenever things don't go perfectly. He can even be verbally aggressive towards his friends, especially Tigger, when things get ruined. According to Canadian Medical Association, they question Rabbit's sexuality because he gives off a feminine behavior. This may be giving clues about homosexuality. The next character I'm going to be describing is Owl. His disorder is dyslexia. This is when you may have trouble reading things, may write things backwards, or letters in the wrong order. Owl is the wisest and most intelligent animal on the show. However, he does portray multiple examples that he has dyslexia. Oftentimes when Owl is reading, he mixes up his words, he writes things backwards, and he swaps his letters around. In fact, he even spelled his name W-O-L in one of the episodes. The final character that I'm going to describe is Christopher Robin. His disorder is schizophrenia. This can be described as seeing things that aren't there, hearing voices in your head, and social isolation. According to Minei Lee on December 5, 2012, she says that he suffers from schizophrenia because his stuffed animals talking to him are his hallucinations. Christopher Robin is only friends with the stuffed animals. He goes on adventures with them, he talks to them as if they're real people, and he plays with them all the time. Christopher Robin is the only human seen on the show. However, the animals are his people in his mind. Although this may seem like just a children's show, many people don't know the underlying messages within it. This show provides insight as to what it's like to have a mental illness.